Alright, I finally have another Beyblade unboxing. It's been a while, but I am back with the Sneak Attack Battle Set, the new Hasbro Stadium set. We usually get one of these every summer. And this is the one for this year. So anyway, go ahead and open this up, get everything assembled, and be right back. Alright, everything opened up and sorted now. So first up we have the instructions as always. Then we also have these two launchers. They're proto launchers. Never really great to see these. Wish they'd put better launchers in these bigger sets, but kind of just is what it is. They're here. Then we have the big thing here, the Stadium. Try and get a better angle. There we go. Good enough. So every year Hasbro does give us a new Stadium, and like last year, I'm not huge on this one. I think this one's probably a bit worse than last year's as well. My first problem, and this is just an issue I have with most Hasbro Stadiums in general, but you have the Extreme line that's kind of just molded into the Stadium. I feel like these don't always work as well as the more traditional Extreme lines. Had they done this concept with a regular Extreme line, I think maybe it'd be a bit better, though probably a bit harder to make, but still. Anyway, the entire gimmick is this piece back here. The idea is a bay can go around the Stadium and then hit this switch, and then that comes up, which you could barely even see. It's a little better. Anyway, and once this comes up, a bay can then come off of the Extreme line with a strong hit and hopefully get an Extreme finish. It's a solid idea, though you don't have any gears on these parts here, which is a little bit unfortunate. Makes sense, but also I think they could have probably done it. I don't think this gimmick is particularly interesting personally. However, there is some merit, at least in one way. Sometimes that button doesn't activate on the first go around, so you'll have a bay kind of fly around the Stadium multiple times before hitting the button. I think that's really the best thing that the Stadium can do, is not actually activate right away, because then you might get a really crazy Extreme Dash after a couple times around. Again though, I really wish they would put more into the Stadium, give us a proper Extreme line, maybe make the gimmick a little bit more functional, lean more into that idea of, having bays go around more often before the activation happens. And then I think the Stadium would have been pretty interesting actually, but as is, I think it's just a little bit jank. Not the best. Is it better than last year's? I'm not sure about that. It's not ideal. Like, I see the vision, I'm just not personally a fan of how they went about it. Most importantly though, we have the bays, and you get two in here. So first we have Cutter Shinobi, or ShinobiShuriken, based on the Taco Shinobi style name, which is what I'll use for the video. It does come with the low flat bit, which is not what I was hoping to see, but not the worst thing ever for a Hasbro bay like this. Chaotic, a little bit shorter, is fine. We then have ShinobiShuriken itself, which is a UX expand blade. Has this piece right here that can kind of rotate around. And then the other bay is Rampart Aegis, or AegisRampart based on the Taco Shinobi style name, which is again what I'll be going with. This has the gear ball bit. Not really a great stamina bit, but here it is. And then here is the AegisRampart blade. Again, UX expand, so it is like this, ratchet integrated blade. And yeah, let's go ahead and put them together. So first up we have ShinobiShuriken low flat. Interestingly, this doesn't move the blade, it just kind of does its own thing. But yeah, not sure I like that. Then the other bay here we have AegisRampart gear ball. And yeah, this thing has this really large wall-like piece, almost kind of a Leon Crest situation, but in the UX expand format, which does feel fairly unoriginal. Also, another downside of these bays has to be the weight. They're not my favorite as is, but if you're hoping to use them, they're probably not the best for that either. Starting with ShinobiShuriken, we have the low flat bit at 2.12 grams, and then the blade here 37.35 grams. As for AegisRampart, the bit 2.05 grams, and then the blade 32.5 7 grams, which is not great. It feels like they designed these weights on regular blades, but not having ratchets means that these are really, really light, especially Aegis, so again, not ideal. Also, before getting into my ratings, let me go ahead and do a few comparisons here, as we do have other Shinobi bays, and I always like to compare bays within the same line. So first up we have Shinobi Shadow. Similar prong design, but fairly different aside from that. Then we have the Hasbro version of Shinobi Knife. Another Hasbro first release. And then here's the Takatomi version, just for good measure. Both do have low flood as well. Alright, so now onto the ratings for our 2 new bays here. So first up, ShinobiShuriken. Aesthetically, honestly, I'm gonna give it like a 2 out of 10. It feels like a McDonald's toy, I'm sorry to say. You have this like very faded, almost teal plastic, and then this orange plastic underneath that again, just feels very light, faded, cheap. Low flat is okay, I guess, but I don't like how this bay looks at all, which is unfortunate. And conceptually, this is kind of weird because the blade is considered a balance blade, while we have an attack bit and the overall combo is considered an attack type. But yeah, it's a Hasbro exclusive, but still doesn't do much. I guess having a rotating piece at all is kind of cool for a Hasbro bay, but it's still not that interesting. I mean, I guess just having a moving part, I'll give it like a 4 out of 10. It's something. The blade technically changes during battle, I guess, so it's kind of cool, but beyond that, nothing else to really say about this bay. Then there's AegisRampart. Again, similar story. Very cheap looking plastic on the blade, which I don't really like, so probably another 2 out of 10 for me aesthetically. And conceptually, this thing does nothing. You have a defense blade with a stamina bit, again making the entire combo technically a stamina type. It's just UX Expand, Leon Crest, that's really it. And then Gear Ball doesn't entirely make sense here either. It's not like offensively bad, so I guess I'll get like a 3 out of 10. It's just regular bad, far from ideal. And yeah, that's the Sneak Attack Battle set. Honestly, I really don't like this set much at all. I feel like the stadium is similar to last year, where it's kind of a gimmicky stadium, which isn't inherently a bad thing. There can be good gimmicky stadiums. And again, I think this one had potential, I just think that the execution wasn't entirely there. Maybe if Takatomi made something like this, it would have been better, but as is, it kind of just exists. Also, as always, I don't like the 2 launchers we get here. Would be great to get better launchers for a set like this, especially being at $55, basically $60 after tax, so pretty pricey to be getting launchers like this. And then as for the bays, these have always been such a good selling point with these big stadium sets. In our first year, we had Drawn Dagger and Mammoth Tusk. Mammoth Tusk, the blade wasn't really good, but 360 was a solid part, and Taper at the time was also pretty good actually. And then Drawn Dagger is Drawn Dagger. Blade's pretty mid, 460 wasn't great, but you had Rush, and Rush was a very, very needed part. If you were Hasbro only, that was basically a must-have, and if not, you at least got a pretty solid exclusive out of it. And then last year was pretty crazy with Impact Drake and Wyvern Hover. Again, for Hasbro only's, Impact Drake was kind of a must-have, and Wyvern Hover was just a brand new bay. And for everyone in general though, I mean, the Impact Drake was a decent blade, but getting another 960 is good, and then the low rush in there was great. And then Wyvern Hover, 385 needle, both pretty bad, but Wyvern Hover, great blade. Also being a Hasbro exclusive at the time was really big actually, made everyone want the set, and Wyvern Hover is still very popular to this day. This set however, both bays being at UX Expanded does mean that we only have the blades and the bits, and low flat and gear ball are just not moving the needle for this set. And while both blades are actually unique to this set, so if you're a collector you kind of do have to get this thing. If you're just looking to get some good parts to battle with really competitively or casually, this set's a skip. ShinobiShuriken would have been decent, maybe even good if it had a ratchet with that weight, but as is, it's just going to be kind of a light, and even the blade doesn't seem amazing. It's just, if it was decently heavy then it could have had a chance, but as is, kind of overall like average to, at this point, Beyblade X, honestly, kind of late. And then AegisRampart is just a non-factor here. So yeah, these bays just don't seem very good to battle with at all. And the only type of person I could really recommend the set to would be collectors looking to add these 2 bays to their collection, and that's really about it. The only exception is if you really, really like the stadium gimmick, and in that case, fair enough. Would probably still wait for this thing to go on sale eventually. I'm sure it will in a few months, maybe around Christmas time or something, but as of right now, Would I suggest paying like $60 for this thing? Definitely not. Again, unless you are a hardcore collector, I'd say this could probably wait, and even then, probably smarter to wait on it. And as of right now, this is probably my least favorite of the big Hasbro Stadium sets. I just don't think any part of it really panned out to be that good. Anyway, that's all to say about this one. Unfortunately not the most positive unboxing, but I just say my thoughts on new releases, and yeah, I'm not really feeling this one. But anyway, that's really about it for this video, so thanks for watching, and bye-bye.